What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. I wanted to talk about today squats because a lot of you do squats and a lot of you struggle with feeling squats in your glutes, and I want to talk about why this is happening and ways you can fix it and variations you could use to make sure you feel squats in your glutes. So before we get started with this video, make sure you click down below, subscribe to my channel, like the video, and make sure you follow me on Instagram at kellynicolefit so you can make sure that you learn a little bit more about targeting your glutes. So first of all, the reason that a lot of people struggle to feel squats in their glutes, well, there's a couple. One is that some people could be, kind of quad dominant, so they're using more of their quads than they are their glutes or their hamstrings when they are doing a squat movement. Another reason is because of the positioning of the actual barbell. So when the barbell's up on your back, especially in a high bar squat, you have to keep your back a little bit more upright to sort of balance out the weight. And when you do that, you're not getting as much of a hinge in your hips when you're going down into the squat. Now, I've talked about before on my Instagram TV, one of the main functions of the glutes is hinging your hips. So the more hinging you get in a squat or any movement, honestly, the more glute activation you are going to get. So when you're pretty much upright in a high bar squat, you're not really going to get much glute activation when you go down because you're not getting as much hip hinging happening. Now, what variations can you use to make sure that you feel the squats in your glutes? My first favorite variation that you can use instead of barbell squats is a dumbbell squat with the dumbbell in front of you and in between your legs. So when you're going to go do a dumbbell squat, the reason you're getting more activation in your glutes this way is because since the weight is in front of you and below you have to lean forward a little bit more to make sure you're staying balanced. The leaning forward is causing more hip hinging, which in turn causes more glute activation. This is by far one of my favorite squat variations you can use to make sure you feel the glute activation. My second favorite is the box squat. A lot of you guys have seen me talk about these before. Typically, I like to do box squats still with a barbell on my back, but instead of a typical squat, you are sitting down onto a box or a bench or something like that, and then from that position, standing up forcefully with, an explosive type of movement to get back into standing position. Now, the reason this is really good for your glutes is because you're stopping the movement at the bottom of the squat where there's the most tension on your body. This way, you can really focus on contracting your glutes when your glutes are really stretched out to push yourself back up, instead of just kind of getting to the bottom of a normal squat and trying to, with all the weight on your back, force your glutes to kind of activate and push yourself up. My third favorite squat variation for your glutes is a pin squat. I don't see many people doing this, but this is absolutely one of my favorites. So instead of a box squat, your pin squat is where you're going down still with a barbell on your back, but you have the safety a little bit up higher so that you can kind of rest the bar onto the safety, pause for about 2 seconds, and then again squeeze your glutes and kind of force yourself back up. The reason I like these as well as box squats, there's a little bit of a difference between them. In a box squat, you kind of have to sit down kind of perfectly, like as if you're sitting on a seat. It's hard to really hinge at your hips and kind of push your hips back. But when you're going into a pin squat, you can really focus on hinging your hips back, pausing at the bottom, and then activating and pushing up. But again, both of them are kind of really awesome because you are stopping the movement at the bottom where there's the most tension, as we've talked about before. So you really have to fight against gravity's pull to push that weight back up, and you can really focus on contracting your glutes to make that happen. There is a fourth bonus one that I like, and that is everything on the Smith machine, you guys. A lot of people are like, oh, Smith machine is for beginners, but there's absolutely so much benefit to the Smith machine, especially for targeting your glutes. If you're doing a squat on the Smith machine or box squat on the Smith machine or a pin squat, since the bar has to move up and down in a vertical position, you can really focus on hinging your hips backwards and forwards because you don't really have to keep the balance of the weight. You can kind of, play around with it a little bit. So you can get more hip hinging happening, get more glute activation, and therefore see bigger glute gains. It's all about the gains, okay? So if you are looking for a little bit of a better variation for you for feeling your squats in your glutes, make sure you try some of these out and let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe down below and give me a follow and a like. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching.